Hello, my friends. Today I want to share with you an interesting idea of few interesting subjects which we discussed within the visibility gym. And I think if you are inspired and you really want to start using live video for your business, in your communication, if you want to build the relationships with your clients, quite probably this video will help you. And I know it's my personal profile, and usually I do not talk about this subject on my personal profile that much, but well, that's a part of my life. And I think that if you are my friend on Facebook, quite probably you are an entrepreneur, and probably we know each other from some groups, and quite probably you have this issue with video, and quite probably you really want to improve it. And I have to tell you, I teach people who are new for live video and who are experts, because I have 20 years in this branding industry and I know how to help newbies and people with experience. So if you are interested in the subject, this video is for you. So this is more or less a Q&A series which I want to add to my communication with people, because I'm getting a lot of questions. And these questions are quite simple. Like this question which I'm going to talk with you about today, it's all about the content. How to create the content which does make sense for your customers, not just how-to content, but emotional content which build this amazing bond with your customers. So, when we talk to people in general, the truth is that we are talking to masses, and these people are faceless. But when I imagine that in front of me, instead of that piece of plastic, the camera or something like that, or instead of masses, my target audience, I have a person in front of me, a person who really wants my help, want my suggestion, want something to know, want to improve their life, their business, then it's a very different situation. Also, I have several questions which are repeatable, and I'm going to talk about these three questions. The question number one is the teleprompter. The teleprompter to memorize content, to not memorize content, improvisation, going to talk about this. Question number two is how to come up with the topics for your content. And question number three is how you actually talk about how you can communicate to people with this emotional approach and stuff like that. So let's start with the thing number one. I always teach people that they rather need to improvise, and the first take is always better than any other take. And the improvisation is in the core of your public speaking abilities, because if you can communicate to people spontaneously, if you can to come to the board of directors like I did many times when I was creative director and say, hey, today we're going to talk about this, that, and thank you so much for your attention, and you learn how to communicate with people spontaneously, improvising, well, that will help you a lot in life, in your live video, of course, and it will help you to build the business more confidently. You will be more prominent, more strong with your communication. So live video is a powerful tool for you to learn these improvisation skills. That's why if you are going to use teleprompter, it's completely different story. You write the script and you learn acting. And live video is unscripted documentary genre. That's a very different genre than scripted documentary. So if you create a script and you love to use teleprompters, that's awesome too. Nothing wrong with that. It's just the different genres. So when we learn how to improvise, when we learn how to communicate, there are several aspects which are really important. So people ask, how that happened that you memorize so much content when you create these videos? And I'm like, well, I don't memorize anything. I just know my subject. So my subjects are branding and visual storytelling. as simple as this. And I've been studying it in art academy, in art school, and 20 years in industry. So if you will wake me up in the middle of the night and you will say, okay, tell me more about visual storytelling, tell me more about video, tell me more about art or photography, quite probably I will come up with some topic and give you the lecture. So that's crazy, but I do know my subject, and I expect that if you are an expert, you also know your subject very well, so you can come up with some topic and communicate about that without any script. That's when you become an expert, when you actually know your subject and you can communicate about that. Now, the question number 3 is how to create this kind of connection with your customers, how to build this emotional bond. Well, this is a really important aspect. I already mentioned that when you imagine that there is somebody there behind the camera, that's a huge, huge difference, because when we talk to a real person, so I'll be talking to you, Mira. Thank you so much for watching. So I'll be talking to a person who actually interested and excited to listen to the subject, want to learn something, and eager to implement this. And I'll be happy to share certain tips here and there, and I'll be happy to maybe share a cup of coffee with this person. So in this situation, you feel yourself more comfortable, you feel yourself more inspired to communicate about the subject, and you are not limited with the script. Now, if you want to not go on tangent and you want to stick to the topic, and that happened to best of us, actually we love to communicate about everything, then we jump on a story and then we forget what we were talking about. Absolutely easily put several bullet points, and this will help you with bullet points to communicate all the time about that specific subject. Stick these bullet points behind your camera and it will help you to remember what you're going to talk about. So you imagine that in front of you there is a person who you absolutely like. You also write down 3, maybe 1, 2 bullet points so that you memorize what you're talking about. And now you're going to create this emotional bond because you talk to a real person, right? So how to come up with this specific subject? Because, well, many of us have the writer's block and we don't know how to come up with new topics. First of all, everybody already talking about this. And if you research your industry, you will say, well, everybody were talking about that. First of all, you have your own opinion, so there is nothing wrong to discuss certain subjects which were already discussed. But the best way, if you want to really talk about the subject with this improvising style, you can do a very, very simple thing. Thing number 1, you just talk about the discussion which you had recently. In fact, this video is inspired by my client from Visibility Gym, Maria, who actually asked me the question, so how do you deal with that teleprompter? And we had exactly this conversation. We were talking about how we find the topics, how we memorize the things. So this is exact example of the content inspired by the conversation with a wonderful person. So when you discuss this kind of things, there are certain aha moments which will happen in your mind, and you will like to share them with people who probably have these same questions. Now, another way, you read certain kind of topics, maybe on Entrepreneur magazine, maybe on some other magazine in your industry, and you had the emotional feedback. That's actually the best one if you hate the topic. Because if you hate the topic, you'll be like, no, what are they talking about? That's crazy. It's not true. And then if you will click that go live button and you will talk about that with your audience, you will find many people who also disagree with that, or many people who agree with that. And that will help you to build a very great emotional rapport with your viewers. Another thing, that what do you want to talk about? Like, you making your morning coffee and you're like, I'm thinking about something, and you start talking this inner chatter, you start communicate to yourself. Think about it. Sometimes you can come up with wonderful ideas for your next live video. Obviously, if you read books, if you read topics, if you watch movies, all of this is tremendous fundamental ideas which you can discuss in your videos. So how your subject is related to the series Mandalorian? Absolutely irrelevant, right? But you can find the connection, and then you will be able to attract people who also like this series, for example, and they will be like, oh, I also like this series so much, and I never saw this connection. You are amazing. You get the bright idea. So start coming up with creative ideas which are really unusual. The more unusual ideas you will find, the more interesting comments and connections you will build. And of course, the limitation of social media is that we don't have much time, and people want to know what are they going to watch. So in this situation, I would absolutely recommend you to prepare people that you are going live, to share with people several topics which are related to your video. So while I'm talking about the improvisation, I would still recommend you to think about the subject like about a week before you go live. I don't say that you have to create a script, but I would say that you really need to dive deeper into the subject and pop up with a few posts, questions, communication. If you are all the time on the same subject, it's okay. So you will basically move within the same area, so people know you for your area of expertise, etc. But still, if you're coming up with the interesting, really intriguing content, then maybe you can post a few ideas which will already trigger people with some questions. And then they will be prepared to your videos, because you will start creating this post and you will say, yeah, in 2 days I'm going to come with live video. Please visit, please watch. It will be in this and this time. And this will help you to create the buzz before you come with your performance. And I always call live video the performance. You come here to perform, you come here to communicate. And when people say that, oh my God, I'm afraid of judgment, I'm afraid that this is one woman show, nobody ever watch. Well, people will watch. People will watch on replay. People will watch if you will share this video afterwards. People will connect with you and communicate with you, because when they see that you delivering some emotional values, you have this kind of very personalized connection. They will not switch off. They will like to watch longer, and they will also build this rapport from one video to the next, to the next, to the next, and then they will start buying from you, because it doesn't happen like that you create one video and then purchases happen. People need to know you. If they don't know you yet, they will know you eventually if you will start come with your videos consistently. Don't overpower them. If you go with your videos every second day, people will not watch your videos, even if they are most brilliant videos in the world. People don't have time to watch only you. So one video in a week, this will be really helpful. Prepare people for your videos, and then go improvise, communicate, be real. When you are real, when you are emotional, when you share some stories, when you are smiling to your people, people start loving you one step after another. So don't think about people who reject you, think about people who are going to love you. And this will help you to be open with them, to improvise, to smile with them, to laugh with them. And that will help you to create live videos which not just converting, but they are building the emotional bond between your customers, the connection between your brand and your customers, which last long years. That was my message for you for today, and I hope it helped you with some food for thoughts, with ideas how to come up with your content, how to behave on your live videos, how to build your personal brand. And if you're interested to talk to me about this, maybe let's chat, let's communicate about your live videos. Very soon we're going to review some videos and social media content, so let's keep in touch and think how we can help each other to scale businesses, to grow, to help more people. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.